Well, hello crafty people and welcome to my channel. Today we are making 6 cards using the Sheetload of Cards Sketch for December 2025. Crafty Elle puts out a new sketch every month and I will link over to her channel where you can find the free printable and instructions. I will put this information along with the supplies I used in the description box and over at my blog at egidesigns.com, and I do have affiliate links. So the sheet gives you all the instructions that you need to cut the background, the mats, all that stuff. And this month even has free printable sentiments that you can cut out. For the card bases, I use the Bear Boss Craft, and I use 3 sheets. And a trick that you can do is that if you're trying to get a couple out of one sheet, you can score the whole sheet at 4 1/4. And then once you score that, you can then turn it and cut it at 5 1/2. It just saves a little bit of time. And then since we were making 6 cards on this one, you can get 2 from each. So I went through and cut all the rest of those. And then I like to use the edge of my scoreboard to line up the edges, and then I use my bone folder to burnish that the edge there. So I went through and did all 6 card bases, and then the next thing that I did, I cut out the background panel, which is 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm using the black craft stock from Tim Holtz. This whole card is pretty much all Tim Holtz Christmas product. And then everything matches. So it's a little bit easier. The thing I like about the Sheetload of Cards is that you can do this assembly style and just go through, do all the card bases, do all the background panels. Now I'm going to do all of the mats for the focal part. For this one, I have this craft stock, and it's green, and this is in the cool pack of the Tim Holtz craft stock. There's like 3 different packs of it, and then this one is in the cool. But so then I'm just going through and cutting 6 of these. So I'm getting everything ready to go so we can just put the cards together when it is time. So that's, I'm just showing you the pack here. There's a lot of great colors in there, especially those greens and purples. Alright, so for the pattern paper, I'm using, these are from the Backdrops Christmas from 2024 pack. There's a whole bunch of different packs. So the cutting instructions tell you exactly how you need to cut each piece. And I'm going to go through and cut each the way according to the instructions. So this is just a 6 by 6. I believe the paper is like 6 by 10 or something like that, so I just cut it down to a 6 by 6 and then started from there. I'm just making little piles with these. Now I'm going through and getting the paper ready to cut out I have a poinsettia die that has like a really kind of thin overlay over that, and I also have a holly die that has a really thin overlay over that, and this is from the metallic number 3 pack, and it's the champagne, and then I'm using the Vault seasonal sketch, which is a little bit smaller than the original seasonal sketch, which is good because it's a smaller area on these cards to fill. So now I'm using the Schoolhouse Red for the poinsettia from Simon, And then I have the midnight green from Simon for the holly. And I'm just kind of cutting strips the width that I'll need. My dye is getting stuck on my mag ink tray up there, which is great to have to hold all your dyes, and clearly it's they hold them very well. But so I'm just getting strips ready to cut out. Now I'm building the pieces, so I'm adding all of the small rectangles onto their mats. And you know, it's just very assembly line, you know, get all these together and then you can move on to the next step. So I got all those done. Now I'm just sorting out the papers because they need to go in pairs. So whatever pattern isn't on the front one, you take one of each and put it with the other one. Now I'm using my rotary trimmer, and we need to cut this on an angle. So you stack up two that go together, and then you can decide how you want to angle it and then just cut it. So you're using the top of one with the bottom of the other and vice versa, and then adding it to with the little focal part to make the little packages and the stacks. So now I'm just putting all these together. So I'm taking the top half of one and then the bottom half of the other and gluing that on, and then adding the middle focal image. And so you have one type of each pattern paper on each card. So here I'm using my mini Empress, which has a magnetic mat, which is awesome, to start cutting out all of these pieces. So I have the champagne overlay part, I have the green holly part, and then I have the red poinsettia part. And I went through and cut these out 6 times for each thing so I could build the poinsettia and the hollies after they are all cut out. I love this little machine, it's so good. And it's really small, fits right on your desk, but it has a wide opening. It's like almost, I think it's like 4 inches. So you can put a lot on there, and I have the extended plates, so all of these fit on here, no problem. I just wanted to show you this. I had gone through and weeded out all of the little bits, and normally when you try to brush them off of your mat, they just end up under your mat. But Glassboard Studios has these awesome new craft catcher trays, and they slip right underneath the edge, so you can just brush everything off into that and then throw it away, which is really awesome. There I'm just gluing together the layers. I have that champagne lacy kind of layer on top, and these are just, they're so gorgeous. I love the way that they look. So I have all these finished up. Alright, now I'm mass stamping, repeat stamping, whatever you want to call it. I use my mini Misty, and I have this reindeer flight stamp set. I used the snowflakes, just repeated all of the inside, and I cut out these little tags. These are from Photoplay, and they're Photoplay nested tags. I'm just trying to get an idea here of what's going on with the card for the layout. For the inside panel and the tags, I did cut that out with Gina K Designs Ivory. And the ink I used is the Morning Mist by VersaFine Claire. I decided on the Merry and Bright. This is the Bold Tidings Mini stamp set. I think that fit perfectly with the layout. I tried another stamp and it was just a little bit too big for that. So this one will be really good. And then I'm using that Morning Mist again. I didn't want to go as harsh as black, but this is a good, pretty good darker color. Just add a couple layers. And again, I just went through, you know, assembly line style, stamped all of the tags, got those all set, so I can just move on to the next step. So here we are building the card, and I have kind of the layout that I want to do. The holly I want underneath, and the poinsettia I want on the top. First I'm putting all of the front panels on the card bases, because I'll probably go over the edge a little bit with the holly. So I'm just looking for placement here. So once I have all those on, now I'm gonna put 1-inch foam tape on the back of all of the tags. The first one I put on, and once I had put everything on, I realized that I wanted the bottom right corner to not, on the tag, to not have any foam tape there, because it was a little bit raised up. So you'll see me go through and cut off the edges of from the foam tape. And here we go. I'm just peeling it up and making a little corner there so it fits a little bit better. I like to use my vinyl weeding tool to take off the backs. Makes it a little bit easier. So now this will lay right over that holly and it will be perfect. Alright, so now we're adding in the inside panels with temporary adhesive. Once I write those out, I will put it in with permanent adhesive, but it's a lot easier to take this panel out if I mess up, than have to redo my whole card. Alright, so here are our 6 completed cards. Once the tags were on, I glued the poinsettias into the top left of that tag. And these just look so pretty and vintage, and I just love it. If you enjoyed this video today, I would appreciate it if you could hit that like button, and also consider subscribing to my channel, as it tells YouTube to share my content with other crafters just like yourself. Stick around for more inspiration in my Winter Cards playlist, and also my Wednesday Workshop playlist, where you can see past episodes of this series. Thanks so much for stopping by! Until next time, like, subscribe, and all that jazz, and have an amazing day. Bye-bye!